Hello and welcome to the Granite State Yarns podcast. My name is Lauren and I am coming to you from the great state of New Hampshire. You can find me on Instagram at Granite State Yarns, as well as on my website www.granitestateyarns.com. This is my podcast where I talk about all of my yarn dyeing and knitting adventures. So welcome back to all my returning viewers. Nice to see you again, and welcome to anybody who is brand new here. So let's get right into what we're going to talk about today. I've got some works in progress, I've got some finished objects, I've got some new acquisitions, and I've got some yarn to talk about that's in my shop right now. So I think we will start with, some finished objects here, okay? So first of all, I have a pair of socks. I've talked about these a couple of times as I was working on them, but this is yarn from, let me make sure I get the information correctly. I actually wrote notes this time, so I wouldn't be so confused. I'll probably still get confused, but where are my notes? There. Yeah, so these are my slushy socks. It's a slushy duo that came from Willow Tree Yarns, and it was a 250-gram set. Yeah, two 50-gram fingering weight sock yarn. One was this bright green, and then this really pretty speckle here. And I knit these up as shorties, 64 stitches. I did I believe you would call this a roll. No, it's not. I always want to do that. It's not a rolled cuff, because a rolled cuff is just when you do stockinette. But it is a folded. That's it. It's a folded over cuff. And I have the green on the inside, and then moved into the speckle here. I did an eye of partridge heel, and then I believe I did 70 rows down here before my toe, again in that bright green color. And so these are just a really super simple pair of shorties. I really like how they came out. Yeah. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these yet. I think I'm going to keep these for myself, but I also possibly may give them as a gift. I have a bunch of socks that I have kind of in the what am I going to do with them phase. Do I give them to one of my kids? Do I keep it for myself? Maybe, Christmas is coming. We'll see. So these are really cute. Okay, that is actually the only completed. Oh wait, no, I do have one more thing, but I'll talk about that later. This is my only completed pair of socks in the last couple weeks, but I do have a couple of half-finished objects. And yes, we'll start with this one here. This is a sock for my son, and it is a no-heel sock. It's made with just a spiral. We've talked about this again in my last couple podcasts, so I'm not going to get too into it, so that way it's not boring for all of you. But basically, this is just not a twisted, but it's like a twisting ribbed pattern that goes around the sock. And the theory is that you don't need to worry about knitting a heel. And so, like for my son who's 3 and his feet are growing, this sock will theoretically fit him for a little bit longer. So this yarn up here is Knit Picks Felici in Base Jump. And then down here, I knit the toe in some scraps of Knit Picks Hawthorn that I have. I don't remember the name of the colorway. I can look it up, but it was just part of a pair of socks that I knit last year, so I don't remember. But let me see. I'll try putting this on a sock blocker and see if you can kind of see how this works. I don't know how well this is gonna. These were designed for a 3-year-old, and my smallest sock blocker is probably pretty big. Yeah, so these are kind of looking like shorties on here, but on him obviously they are quite a bit longer. But you can see how the sock stretches over the heel, and actually I think you can kind of twist it so that way the ribbing lines up. It looks a little bit better on this side. Yeah. So again, this is supposed to be for a 3-year-old foot, so his heel's a little bit lower down here, but you can kind of get the idea how it's just so stretchy that it will kind of hug the foot and conform to what it needs to be. So you could definitely do these for a larger size too, and it would be higher up on the leg. But he is super excited about these socks. He keeps asking me every time he sees me knitting on them. He takes his shoes off or his socks off, and he's, Mom, if he has them on, and Mom, can I try them on? Can I try them on? I like my socks. So that's really fun. I'm knitting these on 9-inch circulars. These are size 0 Chow-goos. I almost always knit my fingering weight socks with size 0 needles. My gauge is pretty loose. But I've been talking with McKaylee of Breaking Yarn, and she is a big fan of the 9-inch circular, and I am still trying to develop a love for the 9-inch circular. I like it more than I did the first time I knit a pair of socks, which was months ago. I am liking them more, but I am not fallen in love yet. I still like my magic loop or my double pointed needles, but it's going. I've got, I did enjoy this, and also surprising because it's ribbing. I don't generally really like the cuff of a sock, and this is just kind of like one big long twisty cuff. But it's been fun. I don't mind it. It's going okay. And then this is a little like needle minder that I got at a shop in Cape Cod, Adventures in Knitting. So that keeps my sock from falling off the needles. So I've only got a little bit done here, but these are for Christmas for him anyway. So I'm making a pair of Felici socks for, my goal is to make a pair of Felici socks for each of my kids. Oh, and I also have my yarn cozy from Midwest Stitches here, which is keeping my ball of Felici together. And I think that's all I have to say about this. Oh, I'll talk about this. This is a bag that one of my friends made for me, and then I've got my Team Cuff Down pin that I got from Allison Clark at Smitten Yarn Co. This pin is so pretty. I don't know if I've shown this one yet, but it is just so shiny. It is like the highest quality pin I've ever had. It's absolutely lovely. And I know she's got some Team Cuff Down and Team Toe Up, and then some like Halloween theme ones in her shop, so be sure to check those out if you are in the market for pins for your project bags. Love this. Okay, continuing with my works in progress, I have, talk about some more socks. I've got my spooky season socks. Speaking of Allison Clark, who is the main host of the Spooky Season Stitch Along, which I am co-hosting with Teeny Button as well. We are doing like a spooky season, mainly sock knitting and crocheting stitch along. You can choose to knit or crochet. I'll link down below the rules. I've gone through it before, so I don't want to be repeating ad nauseum everything. But these are my Arethusa Falls socks that I am working on right now. This is the second. I don't know if I had this finished for the last podcast here. I'll put this on a sock blocker while I'm talking. But so these are the knitting. This is the knitting pattern for the Spooky Season Stitch Along. So I'm hosting a knit along. Ooh, this is a big sock blocker. I just got a new set of sock blockers, and this is just a little big for this sock, but they came with small, medium, and large blockers, and those are obviously large. This is a sock for my 8-year-old. Let me try this blocker. Ooh, this one looks much smaller. So I keep getting interrupted, or well, interrupting myself. So this is the knit pattern for the Spooky Season Stitch Along. My Arethusa Falls socks, I've talked about them. Yep, and so this is my first sock of the pair. I'm doing this in my All Hallows Eve colorway with the pumpkin minis. And this one I chose to do without any of the contrast color on the heel. This is actually, I had knit another sample in this. You've probably seen pictures of it. But I sent that away to Salt Yarn Studio, so I had to start a new pair for the knit along, and I didn't have a whole ton of the pumpkin mini left, so I wanted to be sure that I was going to have enough yarn. So I decided to forgo doing anything on the cuff here and just do the toe and the heel in the contrast color. So I really like this colorway. It's mainly like a pinkish purple. You can see there's little bits of like pastel blue and some pastel orange, and occasionally you can find a green in there, a little bit right there, but it's just nice and subtle. It's very, I don't know, it looks a little spooky and fun. Kind of a, you know, it definitely looks Halloween without being, I don't know, something that like screams Halloween. I like it a lot. So that's, like I said, this is the first one. And then I've got sock number 2. I just started doing the heel here, not too far, about halfway done that, the heel flap here. So the cool thing about this is, I don't know if you've seen my Arethusa Falls vlog, now the sun's coming out, that I went for a hike to the actual Arethusa Falls that these socks are named for. And I brought my socks and actually got to knit a little bit over there on these socks. So that was really fun and exciting to be able to do that. We totally had a blast on that hike. Like I said, I have a vlog. It's the last video that I posted here. So if you'd like to take a look at that one, I will link it down below. I think that there's a way to put a link up here. So if I can figure that out, you can just click on here and that'll bring you straight to that video. It's just a few minutes long and it's just got some music on it and the footage from our hike. It's very chill and relaxing and kind of fun to watch while you're knitting. So I've got this needle minder from Midwest Stitches. My friend Danielle made this and sent it to me. So this is a nice little tool so that way you don't lose your stitches when you've got your project in a project bag. And it's also in a bag from Midwest Stitches. I got this. This is from her new fall collection. It's got some sunflowers and leaves. Totally up my style, up my alley, that's right. Totally my style, up my alley. Love this fabric. And I've got my pin here. Again, this is from Alice & Clark at Smitten Yarn Co. And this is for the stitch along. That same fantastic high quality. It's actually got I can show you better here. You can see that it's a double pin there, so it stays on really nicely. Let me see if I get this to focus better. Oh, that's so much better. You can really see how shiny it is. Isn't it pretty? So you can see where my colors came from for my All Hallows Eve colorway here. Yeah. So super cool. Hopefully we'll get this done in another week or so. We'll see. I mean, I have until the end of the month for the knit along, so there is still plenty of time if you wish to join in. I currently am sold out of this colorway. I've sold out a number of times and then said, okay, that's it. And then people message me and they're like, oh, do you have any more? Do you have any more? And I can't say no. Absolutely. I'll dye up some more if you need it. So at this point, I feel like everybody who wants the yarn probably already has it. So that's why I don't want to keep dyeing more and then not have anyone to sell it to. So if you do want some, please just send me a message and I'll be more than happy to dye some up. I'm going to be doing some dyeing in the next, probably in the next couple days or at least by the weekend. So contact me as soon as possible and I will get that yarn out. And then I have another pair of, well, another half finished pair, well, how would you say that? I have one sock done of the pair. And this is actually going to be a new pattern. I've written this, I'm working on right now, converting my handwritten notes into a typed up pattern. And so I'm actually going to be looking for some test knitters for this. So this is a sneak peek at that. I think I'll probably be announcing that on Instagram in the next couple days once I have the pattern all typed up and ready to get sent out to test knitters. So this is a DK weight sock. And it has a little bit of very beginner friendly stranded color work on the cuff and the toe. And we have a little bit of patterning here on the front of the sock. We have some nice details in the cuff here and a eye of partridge heel. So these knit up really quickly because they're DK weight. And I thought that this would be a perfect Christmas sock. So I am very much looking forward to getting this ready to go. This is another sneak peek. This is the yarn that I'm using for this. This is a DK weight sock set. And it's going to be part of my Christmas story collection that will be announced and up in the shop. I still haven't picked an official date yet, but sometime very, very soon. Maybe by the end of this month, possibly the very beginning of November. I'm thinking probably more likely like right around somewhere between the end of October, early November, because I want to make sure that there's plenty of time for everybody to get their yarn to be able to knit their Christmas socks. So this is one of the colorways for, well, actually 3 colorways, but one of the sock sets for my Christmas story collection. So I'm really, really pleased with this one. So again, if you're interested in test knitting, I would really, truly appreciate some extra sets of eyes to take a look. You can use any DK yarn for this. You can see that I think you could probably use any color. You don't have to, hold yourself to just Christmas colors. I think any nice colors would work just fine and give it a perfectly lovely look. You could also hold fingering double to replicate DK yarn. And I think as long as I don't think a marled, like, if you're using 2 different yarns that are very, very different, I don't know if that would work too well. I think you'd start to lose some of the details. But, if you're using the same color held double or 2 similar colors, it might work really well. So that's that. Again, look for details on that if you're interested in test knitting. And my last, I actually have 2 more works in progress. Yeah. I also have that's the end of my sock works in progress anyway. And I'm still working on my muscle burra. I don't know have we decided like the official pronunciation of it? Like, is it, I think muscle burra is the Scottish pronunciation, and then here in America we say Musselburgh. Is it like Edinburgh and Edinburgh? Anyway, this lovely hat I am knitting out of breaking yarn in the gray matter colorway. It's fingering weight, and I've gotten quite a bit done here. I think I'm up to like 15 or 16 inches long. I think I'm going up to 21. I don't remember. I don't want to give away too many details from the pattern, but it's the Musselburgh pattern from Isolde Teague, if I'm remembering correctly. So this hat you fold in half. So it's basically one big long hat when I finish up. When I get to the right length, I don't remember, and I start knitting to make it smaller. So it's like a mirror image, and then you fold it in on itself, and so you get a double thickness hat. And then again, if you fold it over your ears, then you'll have a quadruple thickness, so for a really nice warm hat. So I'm knitting this for my husband, and I'm working on this for the last couple weeks anyway. It's really easy, mindless, just stockinette knitting. And I'm doing this for the Nitty Bitty Sisters birthday beanie stitch along on Instagram. And there's also a show us your muscles, I think it is, hashtag. I always forget that detail because, did I write it down? Nope, that one's not part of what I wrote down. But anyway, I'll have all that linked down below. So there's my hat, and then my sweater that I've been working on. I got a little bit more done here. I think the last time we talked was right down, it was down at this marker here, which I got from Maple Roots Creative. She's got a really nice shop full of progress keepers and stitch markers and other goodies. I think there's like some like fidget rings that you can wear. So anyway, this very sweet little stitch marker. It's so pretty. So this is the Winter's Beach Cardi by Andrea Mowry. And it's got some great cables. I don't remember how far, maybe 10 inches. So I'm getting there. It's a very, yeah, I can really stretch out here. So yeah, it's a cardigan. So you can see this is just like, it's all folded out. But like this right underneath my chin here is the back portion of the cardigan. And then this is where the arms will go here. They'll get folded in. Does that make sense? So I'm very much enjoying this knit. It's taking me a while. I think it's mainly it's not like it's not hard to do, but it's a big project to work on with my kids running around. So I don't always pull it out to work on, like where socks are really easy just to do that. But this one, like I need my little clicky to know what row I'm on. And if my son or my 2-year-old find this thing, then they go and snip, 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 snip. And then I have to go back and like figure, it's not that hard to figure out where I am, but still it just takes up that extra time. So this has been sadly not getting as much love as I would like it to, but I have made a little bit more of a priority to work on it because I really, 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 really want to get this done. I'm very excited to wear it. I'm going to move the stitch marker so that way I know where I was the next time we talk about it, and hopefully I will have a lot more to show, or at least be up, I don't know, maybe to like the arms or something. Okay, so I just moved my camera a little bit because the sun's starting to kind of wash everything out. So yeah, let's go back to talking about the last little bit about this sweater. I'd neglected to mention that this yarn is in Lolo Did It Hulata DK, which is as the name would suggest, a giant hank of yarn, 250 grams. And it is in the colorway Fame, which is a really pretty golden yellow mustard color. And this is it all caked up. This is a huge cake of yarn. And this cake is the one that I have been knitting on. I know that you're supposed to alternate skeins when you're knitting multi-skein projects. I know this. I haven't done it. I haven't wanted to deal with alternating the whole way through the pattern. So I'm just planning on starting to alternate as I get a little lower down on this. So that way there'll be like a few inches of kind of fading into the other one. I don't think that there's an enormous difference between these two, and I know that you can't really base that because how it looks all you know, twisted up or caked up, you still can't tell, and there can still be a, you know, an obvious demarcation of where you went from one ball to the next. But I'm living on the edge and going to try this anyway, because that's what I'm going to do. I think it's going to be fine. We'll see. If it's not, I'll learn a lesson, but I think we'll be okay. It's such a busy pattern too. I don't think it's going to be that noticeable, and I think just a few inches of alternating should be good enough. So hopefully that all works out for me. So that's my sweater, and yeah, so we can talk about some of my new acquisitions. I bought this soap that I'm going to talk about over a month ago, and haven't had I forgot to mention it on the last podcast. I have mentioned it on Instagram, but I wanted to make sure that I talked about it here so all of you guys could learn about Allison Clark from the Smitten Yarn Co, all of her new sock soaps, because I know she's going to be releasing a new winter collection in the next little while. I think a few more weeks anyway. If you go to her Instagram, I know she's got a countdown for that and some information. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check out her Instagram. But for now, I can talk about her fall collection, or what I have left of it, because I've already broken into them and used some of what was in there. So she had, I believe, yeah, so this is just a little sample of the Nada soap. So this one just is unscented. I know that she had some full-size ones, but she sent me a little sample of it, as well as a sample of Hansel and Gretel, which is a sneak peek of her winter collection, which I have used. That is the only soap that I've used so far out of all of this, and I use that one in the shower on my hair, because I figured if it's good enough for a sheep, it's good enough for me. And it smelled amazing. I am so going to be buying some more of her soap when that scent comes out, because it is incredible, incredible. But for what is currently in her shop right now, I know as of a few days ago, she had some of this one left, which is Citrus Spice. And this is such a beautiful soap. It smells incredible, and it also looks incredible. So you can see that there are little like nuggets of more, it's like a more clear soap. I don't know. I'm not a soap maker. I don't know. I can imagine how it's done, but I don't know for sure. But it's got this really pretty, like almost like a stained glass look to it, and then some swirls on the top. And it smells so good. It smells like orange peels in the best way. Like fresh. It's not like that fake orangey smell at all. It just smells like fresh oranges with a little bit of like a spicy kick to it. It's so good. So if you like citrus at all, it's almost like, I mean, it smells like citrus is citrus, but almost even more grapefruity than orange. It's so nice. It's got like that just natural herby almost kind of a smell to it. Like there was a soap store locally to us called Jenna's Farm Goat Milk Soap, and I haven't been there in a few years, but just that smell of like when you walk into a just that natural like essential oil sort of a just such a lovely smell. Like I said, like herbally, almost spicy. This is beautiful. So I highly recommend this soap. It's intended as a wool wash, so you would use it for washing your woolens. Sun's coming out again. You would use it for washing your woolens and for blocking and just cleaning. So it's a soap. You can use it in the shower or on your hands or whatever, but it is intended for wool. I also have a bar of her apple strudel, which this one is my favorite. I wish now that I hadn't used up all of the Hansel and Gretel, so I could try them both, smell them both right now to really decide which one was my favorite. But I do think that this one would be the total winner. Like this one, I would say Citrus Spice gets a 10 out of 10. Hansel and Gretel gets a 10.5 out of 10, and this gets an 11 out of 10 because they really smell so good. So this apple strudel this is a slightly larger bar. This one's 4.5 ounces, where the Citrus Spice was 3 ounces, and it's a solid color, and it smells so good. Again, it's like apple strudel, but like it smells like the actual baked good, and not like a fake sort of chemically smell at all. It is just pure deliciousness. I could take a bite out of this, or at least I could think about it. I won't, but I could think about it. Oh, it smells so good. I think she sold out of this one, so I'm glad that I got it when I did. But I am very much looking for it. I have a giant bag of socks that need to be washed because I haven't washed anything in the last few months because it's been summer and we don't really wear socks a whole lot other than on Sundays when the kids get dressed up for church, or my husband wears his socks on Sundays. So we also don't necessarily wash them after every wear. I think Professor Pearl, who has a podcast here on YouTube, she was talking about that too, that she doesn't wash her sweaters every time, if at all, because I know there's properties in the wool that help keep it clean, because obviously sheep aren't taking baths all the time. But particularly for my husband and I, we generally wear our socks at least a couple times, 3 times before we wash them, especially if we're just wearing them, to church and back. Like, it's not like we're doing anything, major with them. So anyway, I have accumulated a whole pile of socks, and I am definitely planning on testing out this for its intended purpose. And I cannot wait. Oh, we're gonna have the best smelling socks. Like these socks that I talked about, I've been storing them in the shipping box that I've had this open. So that way now these socks will smell really nice, even without, I haven't washed them or blocked them or anything. But because they've been stored in there, they now smell amazing. Okay. Weirdo lady sniffing socks. Okay. So that's my soap collection from Allison. I also picked up a little soap dish, which will help preserve the soap. So that's really fun. Yeah, it's really simple, made out of wood. Okay. Last pile of stuff is in this bag. I went to Smitten Yarn Co. In Rochester, New Hampshire, which is about a half hour away from here. And I have had let me move this while I'm talking. Maybe I need to move back a little bit. Give me a second. Oh dear. Okay, I've moved back out of the sunshine, and now I'm on like kind of a hill, and the chair that I have my camera set up on is wobbling. Okay, I think we've got this set up okay. If I'm a little like sideways, I look like remember the old Batman TV show from like the 60s, where whenever they'd be in like the Joker's lair, I don't know, everything would be like sideways, and that was how you knew that, like, oh, the bad guys or whatever. Anyway, I'm not a bad guy, I'm a good guy, okay? So anyway, I went to Smitten Yarn Co. in Rochester, and I have had a few viewers recommend that store to me, so I really wanted to get over there, and we went and had a blast. So my whole family went up, but just my oldest 4 girls came with me in the store. So my husband waited in the car with the little guys while we went in to go check out the store. So it is a Victorian house that has been renovated and converted into a yarn store down on the bottom floor, and it is so pretty. It is the most gorgeous little shop. I mean, I've been to it, a handful of yarn stores in the last few months, and there is something about these like really quirky buildings that are converted into, like, Salt Yarn Studio, which is down in Cape Cod, is like in an old cape, and just like every nook has yarn and roving and buttons and little tidbits and this and that, just like tucked into every little corner. And it is just, sorry, the kids were up there. It's such a fun vibe in there. And like the other stores that are in like the strip malls or whatever, like they're fine. They've got their flavor too, and they're really nice. But there's something just really cool about going into these really historical places. Like I said, Smitten is in a old Victorian, and I will include some footage of our trip here so that way you can take a look. The walls are painted this dark purple, and the ceiling is gold. There are just these beautiful sample sweaters knit up, and all of the lovely yarn. It is just such a really cool place. There's like this little nook where there is some stained glass. It's so pretty. So the ladies over there were super friendly, and we had such a fun time chatting with them about yarn and about knitting and spinning and even got into art because one of my daughters is really enjoying her art classes. And Dawn is the mother, and then her daughter, I can't remember her name right now, but she was really into art. She went to college for that, and so she was really sweet in talking about like Van Gogh and how he studied Japanese art and how that influenced his own art. It was really cool. Just all of these different things to chat about over there. So we picked up some goodies over there, and one of the things that I got was, let's see, I got some yarn here. This is Ba Yarns Lajola, I'm not sure. And I got this in Call of the Wild, which is this one, and November 2018, but it says November 18. And I am intending to knit a shawl with this. I still haven't finalized my decision. They had a sample knit up in a different set of colors of a Casa Pinka shawl. And I think I might do that one. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of been like debating. I think I'm going to do that one. I don't know. We'll see. I'm really excited to cast this one on. So this is just 100% superwash merino wool. It's not a sock yarn. It's just wool. There's no nylon in it, but it has this lovely twist to it here, and these really pretty like speckles and spots. Oh, it's so pretty and so soft because there's no nylon. I mean, nylon's not like super rough, but when you compare it to just really nice merino wool. Oh. So yeah, looks like it's a 2-ply. Very excited about this. Just going to get a little bit more of my works in progress kind of pared down a little bit, and then I'm so casting this on. Or I don't know, maybe I'll just cast it on anyway, even if I don't get stuff done. So the other thing that we got there was they had mochi kits there, and I've talked about the mochis that my daughters are really into, and I've been knitting a couple of them. But we found a cat mochi, which we love cats. And so my daughter had to get that one. And so she's been working on the little kit that it had, it came with the pattern, and it came with all the yarn that you need and the stuffing to knit up a couple of cats. And so I have, as I've shown before, I have a giant basket of, sock yarn scraps. So I pulled out some of mine to knit this little guy. Isn't he cute? So I made this to look like my parents' cat, Casey, who is a little Siamese. And I think this came out just right. Look at his little whiskers and his little blue eyes and his pink nose and his little feet. Oh my gosh. So my father is particularly bonded with his little cat. So I'm very much looking forward to giving my dad this little guy. So Dad, if you're watching, and I'm sure you are, just pretend that you didn't hear this, and so you can be all surprised when I give it to you. So I don't know if I have any pictures of Casey. I might. If I can find any, I will add them in here. But so yeah, this is my little kitty, and I would like to try knitting this with bigger needles and bigger yarn to make like a bigger little stuffy there. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. I really love these mochis. I have a friend who I met on Instagram who has sent a bunch of her stash yarn to my daughters so that way they can knit some more of these little mochis. So thank you, Janice. The girls, I need to like get them down here with some of to show everybody the projects that they've been working on. But because I knit the chicken so far, which I talked about before, and then this little guy, my little kitty. But yeah, I'd like to knit in a bigger yarn so that way I can make like a little, almost like a toy. So we'll see. I don't know. What am I gonna do? Make like a bunch of cats for the kids? Maybe. This took about, I don't know, maybe an hour to do. And then both my girls, no, I think Julie's the only one that's finished hers. I don't have it right now. Did Abby do it? No, I don't, maybe she did. I don't remember now. But Julie did finish hers, and it's so cute. It's orange. Oh, really cute. Anyway, so I got another couple things from Smitten too. I found this pin from Pretty Warm Designs, and it is a stack of teacups, and it says Sip Sip Knit, which made me think of Professor Pearl and her hashtag Sip Sip Knit. We've been talking about tea a lot, so I saw this pin and I thought of her and I had to get it. It's so sparkly. And then the other little goodie that I got at Smitten is this little teapot tape measure, and it says Smitten Yarn Co on it. And let me pull it out. It comes on a little keychain, and then there is a sweet little measuring tape on here. So I will keep this in one of my project bags. Isn't it cute? And then, I don't know, it was like tea all over the place over there. They had a little, like, what was it? There were 2 sheep and an alpaca in the store. And so you had to go on a little scavenger hunt to find the sheep and the alpaca. And if you found them, they would give you tea that day. So all 4 of my, this is a mosquito, all four of the girls found all of the little sheep and the alpaca. And so they all got some tea, and I even got one too. So thank you very much. I left those up in the kitchen. We haven't tried them yet, but that's up. I think the suggestion was to make like a lemonade and then add the tea to that. So maybe I'll do that later. That might be nice for dinner. I'm glad we talked about this, so I'll remember. So that was Smitten, and I am definitely looking forward to going back. I think I'm going to be there again later this month for one of their classes. So really excited about that. Highly recommend, if you're in the area, take a stop over at Smitten. It's gorgeous. The other thing that I got that I don't have with me right now, it's upstairs, and I'm not going to worry about lugging it out. Maybe I'll show some pictures, but I bought a spinning wheel. I have been really hoping to get a spinning wheel for many years now, and finally bit the bullet and did it. So I got a shacked ladybug, and it is everything I could have ever imagined. I have already spun some yarn with it. I plied it, made a nice 2-ply yarn that actually looks like yarn. I haven't knit with it yet, but it's not perfect. I'll insert a picture. It's not perfect. There's a lot still to learn, but for someone who's had about 5 minutes of lessons and just learned what I could from watching some videos and chatting with a couple of people over at the Deerfield Fair a couple weekends ago, I think I did okay. I've got some more roving coming. I ordered some Wool of the Andes from Knit Picks, which shipped yesterday, so it'll be here hopefully later this week. And I also got some roving from a seller on Etsy. Oh, I can't remember her name, but I will link her down below. And that just shipped today too. So I am really excited about getting those, and I'll show you all of that probably in the next podcast when everything comes in. But so I am still obviously very much learning how to use the spinning wheel, and I am looking forward to sharing a little bit more about how all of that adventure goes. So it's been so cool to do. Actually, both Abby and Julie have been practicing too. I got them some roving over at, I went to Yarn and Fiber in Derry, and which is another really great little store. I went there, gosh, years ago when I first started to learn how to knit, and they were in another location, and they had just everything. It was like overwhelming for me as a new knitter to go there, because they had all of the spinning stuff, and they have quilting and sewing notions and just every possible yarn, and it was just like, I was still mainly using like, stuff that I could get at Walmart, and to go to this like real knitting store and see like this beautiful, beautiful yarn. It was completely beyond what I could understand. So it was fun to be able to go back last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever, to at their new location, which is in like Broadway in Derry. And so they're in this very old building, and it's got a whole different feel. Like I was saying, different yarn stores have these different like vibes, and to go to Yarn and Fiber in this, you know, historic building in Derry, and the lady there, Sarah, who helped me out, was so helpful and just like showed us all around the store and was giving me like quick lessons in how to spin. So thank you very much, Sarah. You were wonderful and definitely gave me enough information to be able to get started. So I'm looking forward to going over there for perhaps some lessons when the owner comes back from her vacation, because I really want to get to learn how to use that spinning wheel. So thanks so much. All right, I just want to finish up with a little tour of some of the colorways that are in the shop right now. This is my Pumpkin Spice and Haunted House sock set. This one is in DK. I have a couple of those in the shop right now. I do have someone made a pre-order for the fingering weight, which I'm currently sold out of, but I will be dyeing that up in the next couple days. So look for that if you've been looking for pumpkin swirl in fingering weight. Those will be in the shop, like I said, probably the beginning of next week, I would say. Maybe sooner, depends on when I get to dye and how long it takes to dry. So this one's really pretty. I do love this one. I keep wanting to save one for myself. I've actually, I know at least one person who is knitting my Arethusa Fall socks in the fingering weight version of this, and she just finished up her pair the other day. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen pictures of those, but they came out really spectacular. But these DK ones would be really nice. Knit up really fast, really, really soft, squishy socks. Love DK socks. So there's that. I have, this one was very popular this springtime, or this summer, but then I think it's gotten kind of lost. There's a few more, I think I've got 2 more skeins of this. This was sea glass, and this has really nice, like, you know, seashore kind of color vibe to it, with some orange and some green and a little bit of blue speckling here. So I have a couple more skeins of this in the shop right now. This is in fingering weight. I probably won't be dyeing any more of this. Maybe next summer I'll re-release it, but for right now this is probably the end of it. So if you are looking for sea glass, this would probably be your last chance. So love these socks. I have knit up a pair in them. Again, you can go to my Instagram if you want to see what this looks like knit up, but love this colorway. I was actually at a artisan fair in town, and there were a couple of people who are making jewelry out of some of the local sea glass, and I learned that I always assumed that sea glass looks the way it does because it's, you know, glass that's been washed around the sand, and it, you know, it smooths it out. But one of the ladies that I spoke to, she said that there's actually a chemical reaction that occurs, and that the salt water reacts with the glass, and it actually like kind of changes the glass's composition, and so that's why it kind of becomes pitted, and you know, it loses its translucent. Well, I mean, it's still translucent, but it loses its shine, and it's actually a chemical reaction. It's not just the action of the sand kind of you know, blasting away at the glass. So that was really interesting. So I got to learn a little bit more about sea glass. And then I also have my Thanksgiving 2021 colorway, which I just added to the shop I think earlier this week or late last week. And this is a gorgeous cranberry and burnt orange colorway with some green speckling, and it comes with a mini in cranberry here, and this is fingering, yep, this is fingering weight. And so I've got a couple of these in the shop right now, and I possibly will be dyeing up another couple batches of it depending on interest. but I'm really excited about this color. It is so pretty. I mean, we've talked about this. I love, 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 love speckles. And then just these really rich colors, really. These would make lovely socks to wear to Thanksgiving dinner next month. So, yeah. So take a look at my shop if any of these are interesting to you. I have a few other things in there right now. And then, like I said, probably by the end of this month, possibly early November, I will have my Christmas colorways based on a Christmas story coming out very soon. So I think that's all that I have to talk about today as far as yarn and knitting. So if that's all you're here for, thank you so much. I suppose I can talk a little bit about what's going on in my life right now. Let me see. Yeah, we've been doing, like I said, we went to Arethusa Falls last weekend and very much enjoyed it. It was so nice to be able to go out to the White Mountains during peak foliage season. Ordinarily, as locals, we know don't drive up there on Columbus Day weekend because everybody goes up to the mountains that weekend. It's just kind of known like that's going to be just about peak season for foliage. But we decided to give it a try this time because the weather was really good. And one of my daughters is in catechism classes every other Saturday. So we haven't, it's a little bit tricky to get up there because we're busy on Saturdays now. And then Sundays we have church. And so that's, again, we don't really want to do a whole day. It was a mosquito. We don't want to do a whole day. Or we would like to be able to spend the day up there and not feel super rushed. So we figured, well, even though it's kind of peak season, let's go anyway. And we did, and it was crowded. We got stuck in a little bit of traffic on the way up, but it really wasn't too bad anyway. It was gorgeous, so at least you could just kind of slowly snake your way through Franconia Notch State Park and look at the pretty foliage in the mountains and everything. And Crawford Notch was, so what we did was we went up 93 through Franconia Notch, and then I forget the name of the highway, 207, 213, I don't remember, to go over to where Mount Washington Hotel is, and then came back down through Crawford Notch to get to Arethusa Falls. And Crawford Notch was so busy. There, like, if you're local, where Elephant's Head is, there's like a little lake there, and everybody was parked along the highway, and it was so crowded. So we stopped over there because they have, like, there's an AMC building and like bathrooms and things. So we went over there to go use the bathroom before we went on our hike after the long 2.5-hour drive. And we were, thankfully, I don't think very many people know about that bathroom because the line was, there was no line for the men's room because there's never a line for a men's room. And maybe 4 ladies deep to go to the ladies' room, so not too bad. And those bathrooms are super clean. It's the one right by like where the train station is. So pro tip, if you have to go to the bathroom up in Crawford Notch, check out that area because it is the cleanest bathroom considering what it is up there. So we went over there and we were a little bit worried because the parking lot was chock full of people. I assume either hiking up to Elephant's Head or just taking photos or whatever. And so we're like, what's gonna happen? We're gonna get to Arethusa Falls and it's gonna be like just wall-to-wall people, and this is not gonna be fun. And we really didn't want to tell the kids that, oh, maybe we're not gonna be able to go, because they would have been really disappointed. But thankfully we got to the parking lot at Arethusa Falls and it was full, but it's a small lot, and it was mostly full. Like I said, it's a small lot, so it really wasn't like that many people. And it was well traveled. There were a lot of people on the paths, but it wasn't packed. I have hiked Mount Monadnock, which is extremely popular for hikes around here, and have had more crowded hiking experiences than this one. This worked out really well. So my guess is it's probably not super well traveled. If you're looking for a really nice hike up in the Whites, definitely I recommend the Arethusa Falls hike, because to get like the falls themselves are gorgeous. So it's a hike that's well worth it. The sign said it takes about an hour one way. It took us took us a little bit longer than that because we have little kids. But like my 3-year-old pretty much hiked the whole thing. My husband did kind of piggyback ride him for a little bit, but he did amazing. It is a very uphill hike. It's not anything too steep, but you know, it's like unrelenting stair steps like for the majority of the hike, and he did amazing. So I'm really proud of him. And then my girls, my oldest two, carried my 2-year-old in my like ergo carrier backpack kind of a thing, and so that was really helpful that they did that. So my husband was able to kind of keep an eye on the 3-year-old, and then he did carry the little girl, our 2-year-old Philomena, in the backpack for a little bit when Abby and Julie were both really tired. But and I carried the baby as usual because I'm the only person she's gonna let carry her. So yeah, it worked out really good. Everybody really enjoyed it. The leaves were amazing. It smelled incredible. Like just that crunchy, leafy, woodsy smell. Oh, so nice. So we really would like to try to squeeze in a few more hikes before the weather really turns. I don't know if we're really going to be able to make it up to the White Mountains again. Although if you are, another really good hike is Mount Willard, which is in that same area. It's not a super high mountain, but the views are incredible. You can see like all of Crawford Notch, and you can see the Conway Scenic Railroad going down underneath. So those are my 2 suggestions for like family hikes that are a little bit of work, but really great views. And it's might be a little more doable for like newer hikers or for young families. So yeah, we had a great time. So we'd like to try to do some more. We'll see, probably do a little more things like closer to home, just because it takes so long to get up there. I mean, it was a full day. We left at, I think, 9:30 in the morning and didn't get home until 9 at night. So it was a big day, but it was great. We had a great time. Although the waits for the restaurants were just wild because of everybody being there. So we ended up just going to a grocery store on the way home and grabbed a few snacks, and it was maybe not the healthiest thing ever, but whatever. It was better than going to McDonald's anyway. And whatever, memories for the kids. Remember that time we went to the grocery store for dinner and got, like, I think we had dinner rolls and goldfish crackers, Drake's coffee cakes, and devil dogs, or as my husband called them, because my son was, "What's this?" And my husband says, "Oh, it's a chocolate hot dog." And so he was all about that. Chocolate hot dog, all right. So that was our big adventure. And yeah, I guess that's kind of what's been going on. Just, you know, enjoying the wonderful foliage and the fall. This is when New Hampshire is at its greatest, in my opinion. So, well, anyway, I guess that's it for today, and thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button and all those buttons. And I will look forward to chatting with you all again in another week or 2. Hope you have a great time, great week, get a lot of knitting in, maybe some spinning, maybe some crocheting, whatever you're into. So thank you so much, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.